Hey, this is Chris DeMakes from Less Than Jake, and I'm here with my pal Scott, and you're watching Good Company.
Hey guys, my name's Scott Bowling, and you're watching Good Company. Today we have the man, Mr. Chris DeMakes. I want to finish that with a podcast.
I love that.
Dude, thank you for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
So I love this album, Losing Streak, which we're going to talk about today. But your podcast, I have to talk about. I love it.
Thank you.
It's great. I love how you pick songs and just kind of go through them, completely break them down.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea. I didn't want it to be just like an interview, like a lot of podcasts are. I've done enough bad interviews in my life to where I was like, I didn't want to bore my guests with it. I wanted to have a theme, and my manager really pushed me to have. He's like, you should have a theme to it. So we went with songwriting, and it's worked out really well. So it's easy not to stray off topic because you know what you're talking about.
I love that episode you did with your bass player Roger.
Yes,
the science of how's it
selling yourself short.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a great episode, man. That was a great song too. I don't think I've never even heard that song until you did that episode.
Oh,
I was like, wow, that's huge.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. We've been a band for so long that a lot of our fans that started following us in the '90s with Losing Streak and Hello Rockview, they got out of high school, they got out of college, they maybe started listening to different music, and they've come back later and been like, those albums you put out in the 2000s, I really like.
That's how I am.
Which is cool, you know.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So today we're going to talk about this album, Losing Streak. Holy crap, man, this is a great record. This is the anniversary, though, right? This is, what's it coming on? It came out in 96. So
yeah, it just celebrated 24 years on November 12th. So next year is the big 25.
And you guys played this album from start to finish, what, in 2007, right?
We've done it a couple. We've done it a couple. We've done it a couple times. Yeah,
that's cool.
It's always fun to do that. And yeah, I made this record when I was 23 years old. I'm 24 now.
I love the album cover too, and like it just. Can we just talk about this real fast? How did you do the album cover? Like, was that your idea?
A friend of ours named Jason Armadillo. He was an artist from Gainesville, Florida. Jason mocked that up and drew that.
Oh, cool.
It's kind of become iconic. You know, people have tattoos of that. And,
do they? And then you got this. I got your colored vinyl, which is the devil.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
I'm assuming. I
have that too, and as I was looking at it, I had to remember: is this Losing Streak? It is Losing Streak. Okay, yeah.
I hope it is because I'm probably here thinking it was. But yeah, so this album is so good. My friend Heather actually turned me on to you guys, and this album was one of those albums where I just listened to from start to finish. So even getting ready for this interview, I was like, I don't remember the names of the songs because I just listened from start to finish. You know what I mean? I'm not like, I don't know. Few albums are like that for me. I think of like Rancid, Out Come the Wolves. That's an album for me that I love every song from start to finish. Anyway, did you guys know you had something special when you're putting all this together?
You know, I don't. No, we did. We were just, for lack of a better word, we were kids. You know, I wrote this record when I was 21 years old, and we were just writing songs at a breakneck speed. There was really no grand master plan. We were still kind of. Prior to this record, we were, still in between tours, kind of working. I was delivering pizzas, and it was just a breakneck speed. It was just so quick. To look back, it wasn't a grand plan of like, we did something special here, or we documented something special. It was just the next batch of songs that we recorded. And to your point, it's a quick record. It's 16 songs, but it's 35 minutes.
Yeah, the first song's like 2 minutes.
It goes by really quickly.
When you did an album previous to this, you took a couple of songs and put it to this album, like Johnny Quest.
Yes.
How did you decide what songs to? How did you decide to take that song and put it on this album? Was it, you knew it was special?
This is great because I talked about this yesterday on my podcast with an episode of myself. So
nice.
my producer of the show, he interviewed me for a special that's coming up, or a podcast that's coming up on the 21st of this month, where he interviews me about Johnny Quest Thanks for Sellouts, a song from the record.
I can't wait to hear that.
We broke it down, and one of the questions was, why did you re-record these? And the answer is basically our A&R person at Capitol was a guy named Craig Aronson. And Craig, he signed us to the label. When we were putting songs together for the record, he said, I think you guys should re-record Johnny Quest, Thanks for Salads, and Jen Doesn't Like Me Anymore.
That's a great song.
And we were like, what? And he's like, yeah. And we were like, no, those songs are done.
Really?
We were young punker kids. We're like, no, those songs are done. We're not re-recording those. And to his point, he's like, yeah, but you know, you've sold whatever 20,000 records. That's 20,000 people have heard this. Like, think of how many more people. These songs are great. And he had seen us at that point live probably a dozen times, and he saw the reaction that those songs were getting. They were kind of undeniable. You know,
Wow.
we'd play them and the crowd would explode. So, you know, he made the right call.
Yeah, that's great to have somebody in your corner like that that can see. And
Yeah,
observe.
because we would have, you know, they most likely wouldn't have wound up on a losing streak, which would have been a shame because, you know, a lot of those songs from our first record that didn't have major label distribution, you know, the hardcore fans know about it, but a lot of those songs got glossed over because it didn't have the big push.
It's funny, back in the 90s too, like Johnny Quest thinks we're sellouts. That seems like such a big thing back then, like being sellout or being a poser. And like, I don't know, when I was a kid, that's how it was. It was like everybody's selling out, like if you do anything.
Yeah, it was a strange time. And if you think about today, it's crazy. You even think of something like, you know, when Milli Vanilli got their Grammy snatched away because they were lip syncing.
Yeah.
I mean, think of what goes on today. There's performers that don't sing a note that are up
100%.
there.
Look at the Super Bowl halftime. It's
Well,
all,
you know,
in general.
the times have changed. The sellout thing just, it's laughable now. Like, if you asked a younger person, like, do you care if your artist is on a label that's funded by, you know, a corporation? They look at you like, what are you talking about? Like, it's a bygone thing.
Was it hard after you guys hit Losing Streak? Was it hard following that up with your next album? Hello, Rockville, that's right.
No, Hello Rockview was, again, it was just the next record. And it would have been hard to follow up the record had Losing Streak sold millions of copies. You know,
in my mind, it did though. Like it was just huge for me.
And the perception of our fans, and a lot of times is, and we've always considered ourselves like a working class band. We're on the road to this day. We tour relentlessly, and that's how we have forged our career, and that's how we make the bulk of our income is by touring.
Yeah.
And so it was just it was the next record. There wasn't any expectation of following it. We just wanted to make a record that was better than the last one we made.
Yeah.
You know, again, if we would have sold 2 or 3 million albums and been all over MTV, it'd been like, okay, now we have to deliver. But you know, I think Losing Streak at the time, when we went to make Hello Rockview, it was around probably 175,000, 200,000 records that had shifted, which is a lot of records.
Yeah.
But it's not, you know, superstar status where you have this immense pressure to follow it up.
Right, right. When you so I want to talk about this first. I got a couple things right here real quick. The girl that got me into you guys, we were in a Grease play together, and she told me about you guys. So I think it's hilarious that you guys covered a Grease album.
Yes.
Who came up with that idea?
Well, that's this thing. Every time I see it, I go, oh, because of 2 reasons.
Yeah.
The fans, such as yourself, adore that record so much, and it
Yes.
means so much. So it's a double-edged sword in the sense that, like, I know people love it. I wish we would have done a better job to it. We were touring so much around 1996, 97. We were doing mail order out of our apartment. So we had all our 7-inch vinyl records, CDs, cassettes at that time, posters. So people would write us, hey, I want this. We were filling orders. We'd sit around a round table, and we had this bright idea of putting upcoming things. The Greased album. So we had pre-orders sitting there for like 700 orders for this thing.
Gosh.
We didn't record note 1. So we're in between tours. It's like,
No pressure.
go. And this is before any type of Pro Tools recording stuff. It was us straight to tape, and it's pretty rushed and pretty raw. I'm just glad people like it as much as they do, because that's one thing in my career that I cannot listen to.
Yeah, okay, so it's unlistenable. Did you know all the lyrics to it? I mean, did you have to study it?
No, and that was the other thing. See, I wasn't in the Greased play, okay? I was kind of familiar with it. I remember, you couldn't escape John Travolta in the early 80s at that time. I mean, obviously he's been a star after that. But, I knew of the movie, was never really a fan. So I had to learn all of that. And it was,
Torture.
Yeah.
When's the last time you listened to it? Never?
Probably 98, maybe a year after, because I think we played a song or 2 on a tour where I have to go kind of brush up on it. But
that's a good point, though. Do you listen to your albums?
No.
No,
the only time you ever listen to it is when you're gonna dust off an old song you haven't heard in a while, and I like to go back for reference and to remember it. But
So when you go back, do you pick out, like, if you were to listen to it, do you constantly, I should have done this, or I should have sang this, or kind of pick yourself apart?
No, I learned a long time ago to try not to do that. The reason being is that got to the point where I realized it's no different than the photo on the wall over there. It's a documentation of where I was at that moment in my life.
Wow.
You know, now if you were to say objectively, what would you do to change it? Oh, well, I would have doubled that chorus. I would have, that guitar would have been louder.
Yeah.
It would have been a better guitar tone.
That's a good point.
But I can't think that way when I listen to it. I hate this saying, but it is what it is. You know, it's where we were. It's a snapshot of where we were at that moment in our life, and that's something. It's kind of Back to the Future type stuff. You can't mess with it. You know, you just leave it alone.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I love your band too. With Roger, it seems like a perfect fit for you guys. And Vinny, your drummer, he was on this album, right? Roger and Vinny.
Yeah, yes, Vinny was on. Vinny was with us for every record up until our brand new album.
Okay.
He left the band in 2018. So, but yeah, Vinny was on Losing Streak. Yes.
Yes, that's good. I remember listening to your live album, and you're like, one of your horns players was like in the meat, and you said something like they were in the meat and potatoes or something like he was. I don't know about your horn players. Did you have one guy that was with you the whole time until?
So Buddy's been with us the whole time. He's our trombone player. And our sax player's been with us for 20 years now. So we had for 20 years the same lineup pretty much, 18 years, and then our drummer left 2 years ago. So the core lineup though of our trombone player Buddy and Roger, our bass player, and myself, it's been the same since day one.
Okay. And you got your new album that's coming out, Silver Linings, right?
Yes.
Look, this is awesome, dude.
Yep.
Do you still enjoy recording? Like, how was this COVID experience? Did you guys record before COVID?
Yeah, we recorded this album in December of 2019, or November of 2019. So the album's been done for over a year. And we wanted to release it earlier in the year, and it just kept getting pushed back because everyone thought at some point they'd be able to get back on the road. Lo and behold, it got to the point where that didn't happen. We wanted to put the album out, and finally it's getting a December 11th release.
Oh man, that's so cool. It's probably hard sitting on an album, right? Like,
yeah, because you want to. There's an immediacy to wanting to have people hear it.
Yeah.
Sitting on it's just like it's collecting dust over there, and you want to get it out to some people. That's why you recorded it.
Oh, that's cool. Where'd you guys record it at?
In Gainesville.
Gainesville. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That's so funny because this is Gainesville, Georgia, or Gainesville, Georgia. So every time I talk to people, they're like, "Oh, you talking about Gainesville, Florida?" It's like Gainesville, Georgia doesn't really exist.
Yeah, no, I mean we'd be on the road before. Like there's a Gainesville, Georgia, there's a Gainesville, Texas. And,
Gainesville, Texas.
Oh yeah, I think there's a Gainesville, North Carolina, maybe. There's quite a few of them. We always say, there's a Gainesville here. I'm like, yeah, I know.
I love you also do don't you write songs for people like jingles and stuff like this? I think that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I started doing that some time back. I'll do personal songs for people if they want a song for my anniversary for my wife or something.
That's so cool, man. I'm gonna have to hit you up for that.
Yeah, I do jingles for businesses, and it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. It's another way to connect with the fans, and another way to have an income stream in the music business that's very difficult to have that.
Yeah. So how can people find you if they want you to write them a song or something?
Yeah, they can go to Chris DeMakes, that's DeMakes, Chris DeMakes @gmail.com.
Okay.
And if you'd like to join the podcast group, we've got a Facebook group. It's really awesome. We got about 2,300 members in there now, and it's
sweet.
really interactive. And that's the Chris DeMakes a Podcast Facebook group. You can find it there. And the other place is Less Than Chris D, and that's on Instagram.
Cool, man. Yeah. Dude, it's so cool having you here, and you're taller than I thought you'd be.
It's the platform shoes.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm only 5'4".
Well, I really appreciate being on the show, man. I really love Losing Streak. That album was huge for me, and this is really cool meeting you, man.
Thank you for having me.
All right, man. Appreciate it, brother.